Hello, my name is Megan O'Russell.
And my name is Christopher Russell, and welcome back to Page by Page, writing the book in real time. I can't believe it happened. It finally happened. We finally had to miss a week. Why did we have to miss a week, Megan?
I tried to run an errand and it went terribly, terribly awry.
Yes, it did.
The back end of the car got clipped when I ended up breaking my foot, and now I need surgery because the brake is like 2 millimeters out of alignment. So, it's been an interesting little week.
Well, it was a matter of, we could let it set, or we could put a screw in there. And it was like, well, she did used to be a professional dancer, and she might want to do that again. Oh, maybe a screw. Also, she has lupus. Okay, we're doing the screw. So it was just this fun cascading event.
I mean, being like, all right, I can never tap dance in heels again, you know.
That's not nice.
That would be sad.
That would be very sad.
Yeah. I still have to do stiff upper lip, stout fella. What do you read now? Stew in Crazy for You.
What?
I want to be the British tour guide writer in Crazy for You.
Are you serious?
Yes.
That's an ambition of yours?
Yes.
That show?
Such a princess track. Walk in, sing a song, do the finale. It's brilliant.
Stop finale. Yeah.
Isn't that brilliant? And then you get to tap dance in the finale and you're done.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I would rather be, was it Ziegler? Is that his name in there?
Well, there isn't the female equivalent of that track.
Okay, fair point.
Yeah.
No, especially for somebody who's, no offense, no longer an ingenue. I mean,
I wasn't an ingenue when I was the age of an ingenue.
That's fair. Nor was I a juvenile when I was the age of a juvenile.
No, we were born old fucks.
Yeah, we were born old fucks. Thank you. You heard it here, folks. We are wordsmiths. So aside from news about surgery, I got some very exciting news.
But you can't talk about that.
I can't share. What I feel like I can share is that soon you may be able to find me in 2 theme parks in Orlando. That's all I can say. And I can't say anything beyond that because approvals have to happen, and there is always the chance that you will not get approved. So I'm not going to jinx that. So more to come in November. Sorry, y'all. But it's very, very exciting. I am stoked. Megan is very excited. I just hate that the good news had to come amidst such bad news for you. I love you.
No. But okay, so what happened was I broke my foot Monday.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't get into an orthopedist until Thursday because that's apparently how it works. And then I was told Thursday that unless I could get a doctor's appointment on Friday to get a GP to clear me for surgery, I wouldn't be able to have surgery on the 16th. I'd have to wait till the 23rd, which would have me having surgery 2 days before I'm supposed to be in Tampa at Waya by the Bay with R.L. Stein.
Yeah.
So I spent all day Friday running around Orlando, just like a headless chicken with a broken foot. And Chris was amazing. He drove me everywhere.
Thank you.
But I ended up having to do 4 doctor's appointments that day.
It was insane.
In order to get everything scheduled for clearance. And there was actually this amazing CRPN.
A certified practicing nurse, or I don't know what the letters are.
Yeah, but she was amazing.
She was great.
And she figured out how to get everything through. And then she actually called me Saturday morning. She wasn't working, but she was like, I had some time and I looked in the system to see if the chest x-ray and blood tests and all those things that we have to do before surgery, if they had come in, and everything came in and it looked good. So even though she wasn't working, she put in my approval to save me from having to go to a 5th doctor's appointment on Monday. She's amazing.
Yes.
So you got really good news and I got a broken foot. But on the plus side, I had a huge faith in humanity restoration because this whole doctor's office of people were busting their asses to help me get everything in so that I could have my foot done on Tuesday. So it sucks, but I'm really excited that I only have 1 more day because we're recording this on Sunday and foot surgery is Tuesday. Mm-hmm. So I only have to have 1 more day of wasted healing.
CNP, Certified Nurse Practitioner?
Don't start me lying.
I don't know. My favorite is when she said, this really wasn't a great timeline for anybody. I'm stressed out. We were like, sorry.
She was so sweet. She was calling around to find
she was awesome.
Other doctors that could help squeak me in so that I could get appointments if she wasn't going to be there to read my tests if they weren't in by Monday. She was amazing. Everybody was amazing. I'm so lucky. Like,
Yeah.
the Florida's. But of the many things that I love about Orlando, I will say that we have a really great local medical system.
We really, really do. I can't speak to anything beyond Advent Health, but Advent Health is awesome.
Yeah.
So let's introduce the beer of the week since we've already been sipping it. So this is, we're keeping with the pumpkin theme for a while, y'all. Megan Elizabeth, you're not supposed to drink it before we cheers. You're not supposed to drink more of it. It doesn't matter. Whatever. There are no rules.
I'm doing my best.
Yes, you are.
The fact that my best isn't that great, I feel like is understandable in this moment.
I agree.
Here. I'm not crying.
I know.
I ate a food today.
You did eat a food today.
Be proud.
I am very proud.
And I showered.
Which is, man, being a spoonie with a broken appendage showering.
It's like a shower takes 6 times more spoons when you have a broken foot.
Yeah, if you don't know what a spoonie is, look it up or ask us. We're happy to share.
No. You just link the thing you link it in the thing.
Oh, I could do that. All right. Yeah. So this is, wait. This is Blue Point Mother Pumpkin Ale. Cheers. We'll be sticking with
link the spoonie thing in the podcast notes.
The story?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. It's actually brilliant. It explains it. Do you feel it explains it well as a spoonie?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll be sure to share that in the podcast notes. But we will be sticking with the pumpkin beers probably for a while because I'm not the biggest pumpkin spice fan in the world. Like, people are all like, pumpkin spice lattes, not my jam. I do love pumpkin spice cold brew. But pumpkin beers, divine. Okay.
Do you remember that time we were working at a theater in Illinois?
Yeah, Circa 21.
And they had a bar that on Halloween, they had pumpkins hollowed out. And instead of drinking from like a normal glass, you would get your drinks in a pumpkin.
It was awesome.
But the pumpkins were different sizes.
Yeah, so depending.
And they weren't, usually with beer, if it's like a higher ABV, you don't get like a whole glass of beer. You get like a smaller.
Yeah, like a
sniftery type Duker.
Yeah.
But they did not do that. So they were pouring like the high ABV beers in these pumpkins. Mm-hmm. And so everyone was drinking high ABV beers out of pumpkins, and the cast had a great night that night.
It was great.
I feel like the bar owner probably had a lot of regrets in the morning.
But it was something they did every year.
But I feel like they should have limited which ones could go in the pumpkin.
I have to say that of all of the places we've been for Halloween, that was definitely one of my favorites. Illinois just has it going on. Like, you've got the Raven's Grin Inn, which is a year-round haunted house up in Mount Carroll, Illinois. They had that. They had a haunted house in Rock Island, which is where we had the beers too, and it was great. It was a really cool haunted house. So I love Halloween. Speaking of pumpkins, why don't you give us a previously on? I'm going to keep doing that. Just having two things that have no correlation at all. That's how improv works. Continue.
I feel like that's how your brain works all the time.
It is how my brain works all the time. It's a terrifying place, and I don't even like being in it.
I asked you, so I have like cat grass on our patio because our cats can't go outside, but I have cat grass, and I can't really like move potting soil around by myself right now. So I was waiting for Chris to bring me potting soil. And he went on a 20-minute magical mystery tour around our condo. And it's not huge. Like, we do not live in a huge home. It is 2 bedrooms, compact, 1 story. Like, there isn't a lot of place to get lost here. And he just like, doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop.
In my defense, it has been a very stressful week. I know that I'm not the one with the broken foot.
But that's just, how do you wander for that long in such a small space?
Now you understand why I used to get in trouble for folding laundry the way that I did when I was growing up.
No.
I would literally get in trouble because it would take me 2 hours to fold laundry. Yeah.
Well, was there something else you were supposed to be doing?
No.
Well, then why would you get in trouble?
Because my parents are assholes. I don't know.
There you go. We got to the crux of it.
That's a fair point.
So wait, I lost track of things.
We were going to do a previously on.
Parents are assholes. Let's continue. Previously on. Previously on Diary of a Blood-Marked Werewolf. About 2 weeks after having been kidnapped, Ella Day is still stuck in her human playpen, restricted from aitherion activities by the constant presence of her human friends. But Ella is now determined to break free, at least for a moment, because there is trouble still brewing in Laureldale. Did I do it?
I think you did. Great job. A+.
I think it was the in Laureldale.
Yeah, that was it. That's what sealed it.
That's what I did.
That is exactly what sealed it. I took the courtesy this time of moving the mic immediately. I don't think we talked about this last time, but I moved the mic for the episode that happened 2 weeks ago, and somehow there was some kind of weird disconnect. So we kept talking for 20 minutes with no recording happening. So I made sure to do that before we talk this time. Do you remember when that happened?
No, I think that's one of the beautiful things about brain injury. I don't remember that stress at all.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it was because I was going, oh, no, because I thought it had cut out during the reading of the chapter. And I was like, no. And it hadn't. It hadn't. We'd only lost like 20 minutes of banter, which is very important afterwards. But still, I was like, oh, no. So technical fun. Anyway, I scrapped that by moving the mic while I could see the damn recording. Because last time I moved it while the chapter was already up on my screen. And I didn't cut back after the chapter was read. So with one more spoiler alert warning, I'm giving you a second before I begin. Diary of a Blood-Marked Werewolf. You okay?
I'm good.
By Megan O. Russell. Chapter 11. Order. Imagine I was Judge Judy for that last one. The beauty of someone you'd prefer never to speak to again, choosing to ignore your existence, cannot be overstated. A tiny flame of dread had managed to sputter to life when I spotted Haley in homeroom Thursday morning, officially ending the brief joy of her suspension, but cutting me off the 2 times I tried to speak during our final field day planning session was the only shit she tried, so what the fuck ever. And even if Haley had chosen to be a nightmare, the great Paige Paxman's determination to include the full class in our talent show submission twasn't mighty enough to tear my focus from the task at hand, so Haley had no fucking chance. Had Violet's current coping mechanism for her intense need to bash Jason against the wall for looking like his father not been avoiding said skull-smashing temptation by spending as few milliseconds in his presence as possible, passing her a note in chem class would have been easy. Instead, I had to risk death and more time with Hayes by wandering back to Violet for a mid-experiment, comforting werewolf hug. But I didn't get strangled by Violet, or sent to Harrison's office, or a fresh lecture on how the grieving process affects brain chemicals, and I did manage to shove my top-secret note into Violet's fist, checking off step 1 of my desperate-ass plan, so again, what the fuck ever. Which left me with nothing to do in algebra but stare at the back of Caleb's head, willing him to turn around just for a second. A chance to look into his eyes and see if they held hate, pain, caring, or had just become a fucking void. But he didn't look at me, and obsessing over him not looking at me made me fuck up my math quiz. Even knowing I had just academically disappointed my dead mother couldn't distract me from my mission. Step 2, escape. I didn't leap to my feet as the bell signaled the end of class, but lingered in my seat as Violet bolted from the room, stealing Caleb's usual place as first to flee algebra. Finishing the swirled script for the very important note in my planner, wow, Ella, way to fucking suck at math, gave the scrum at the door a moment to calm. I just want to take a second. Scrum. Good word. Good word.
I love the word scrum.
Yeah, it's not a word that we see often enough in contemporary fiction.
But like the word scrum, like it actually, like think of the word scrum in your head.
Yeah.
It feels like a scrum.
It does feel like a scrum.
It goes scrum.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like it, yeah. It's a very satisfying word.
You know, I'm not going to dive into recent events, but I will say something that came out of recent events was somebody saying that a certain word was made up, which my answer to that is, so was every other word ever. So it's just a very interesting thing. You hear this said all the time. Like, for instance, Sarah Palin made up the word refudiate. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Back
forever ago. And it's like she made up that word. And while, yes, that's true, she was combining repudiate and refute. That's how all words come to be. And I think it ended up being accepted, didn't it? It's crazy.
Yep,
anyway.
It did.
So whoever came up with scrum.
Great job.
Good
Great
job. That's all. Where were we?
At Scrum.
Oh, at Scrum. Shall we do Scrum again?
Sure.
Okay. I didn't leap to my feet as the bell signaled the end of class, but lingered in my seat as Violet bolted from the room, stealing Caleb's usual place as first to flee algebra. Finishing the swirled script for the very important note in my planner, wow, Ella, way to fucking suck at math, gave the scrum at the door a moment to calm. Ready for lunch? Sydney asked when I finally stood. My friends / babysitters / human shackles had all patiently waited for me by the door. Of course. My dad spent last night testing options for tomorrow's tailgate, Andre said as we joined the very end of the line leaving class. Tailgate? Meaning I have a cooler of food waiting for us in the front office, Andre said. Did your dad bribe Mrs. Kowalski? Jason asked. Andre shrugged. Help me grab the food? Yes, leave. No. Tailgate? Tailgate bad. My feet stopped working before my brain figured out why a sparking cord of panic had tightened around my throat. A wall, aka Jason, crashed into my back, knocking me forward. I tipped like a plank of wood, fully aware I should just stumble a step to get my balance, or at least put my fucking hands out to catch myself, but unable to convince my limbs to limb, only spared from spectacular Evan-like facial damage by the slamming walls impressive for a human reflexes and ongoing habit of saving my ass. Jason's arm clamped around my waist, snatching me back, my feet leaving the ground before I slammed against his chest, making a noise close to as the air smashed out of my lungs. Shall I audition another take on that? Yeah. Okay. All right. So this is written, for those of you playing the home game, Gabhaa, all is one word. Okay. So I want you to take a second. How would you say this in your head? Okay. Now that you've taken a second, let's try again. Jason's arm clamped around my waist, snatching me back, my feet leaving the ground before I slammed against his chest, making a noise close to as the air smashed out of my lungs. What? I stand by it.
I can't fire you because you're the only voice actor in house.
I'm sure Bubba has made his voice heard many a time on this podcast.
Okay, one more.
Making a noise close to, you know, like I feel like that would.
Why did you make the noise?
Oh,
you
no.
just summoned him. Okay, continue. Maybe he'll forget.
I am become death. All right, here we go. Jason's arm clamped around my waist, snatching me back, my feet leaving the ground before I slammed against his chest, making a noise close to as the air smashed out of my lungs. Is that better?
Yeah, I like
Okay, great. Sorry. Jason locked his arm around me, seemingly unaware of my feet dangling in the air. Sorry. If you're going to have a problem, do it in the hall. Miss Addison, our charming current algebra sub, shooed us away like we were threatening to track mud on her rug. At least it was mud and not poop like the other.
That was the other sub. That sub never came back.
Nope. Really? Paige spun toward Addison while Jason carried me, feet still fucking dangling, the 5 steps into the corridor. Do you understand the concept of a burden of care? I see you, Paige. I was that student in middle school. I was the one that was like, I'm not taking shit from anyone. And did it get me in trouble? Yes. Should you do that at school, kids? Probably not.
Are you going to do it anyway? Probably.
Yeah, but no, I legit, I did. The people would be like, we're going to talk about this when you get back to school. I'm like, yeah, okay, good luck. And I would leave. Well, because like in my mind, and I don't know, because I was an asshole back then, more so than I am now, they very well could have been in the right. Shut up. but in my 13-year-old mind, no. Okay. Really? Paige spun toward Addison while Jason carried me, feet still fucking dangling, the 5 steps into the corridor. Do you understand the concept of a burden of care? Sydney's grip joined Jason's, her fingers bruising my shoulders as he set me down and she helped steady me. Are you dizzy? Breathe, fucker. I ran into her. I'm so sorry, Ella, Jason said. Did I hurt you? Breathe. I dragged air into my lungs. Hellgate? I hacked out the word. Maybe you should sit for a second. Paige stole my books from my arms. Do not come back in here, Addison so helpfully called. Ella? Jason leaned over my shoulder, trying to see my face. His body arced around mine, his massive frame swallowing me like a living cocoon. A human cocoon. Breathe, Ella. Tailgate? I managed clear speech. Lots of families do it. My parents have just... Andre furrowed his brow, staring at the blank wall like it held the carefully crafted list of ways to kindly state unfortunate truths he'd been curating since birth. Embraced the competitive spirit of the occasion? Sydney offered. Exactly. Andre's brow smoothed like all possible stress had faded, which was nice for him, because the combination of the need to scream, run, and shred something made every fucking muscle in my body burn with unspent tension. Jason felt it, because that's how Jason Archer works. The tailgate's fun, but if it gets to be too much, we'll just eat inside. No big deal. Somehow, he didn't have books under his non-Ella waist-gripping arm anymore. He laid his free hand on my shoulder, sealing up my cocoon. The food will taste great wherever we are. Unworthy, unforgivable, unbelievably selfish. You said we were going to the Argo tomorrow. Panic tightened my voice. That's the after party, Paige said. But we don't have to go. As much hope brightened Jason's voice as panic had tightened mine. If a tailgate and being in a crowd at the Argo is too much for one day, we can skip the after party. No! I yelped. I'm sorry. I want to go to the party. I slid away from Jason, recalibrating my scattered-ass brain, scrambling for an inconspicuous transition. The party will be good for me. When slogging through the bog of despair, a change of scenery feeds the soul. Wow, Ella. Great job. More like my mother's sarcasm-hued wisdom had suddenly vomited out of me, but the weird grief-lined nausea over sounding like Mom had to wait. That's a great idea. The party is going to be fantastic, and... Sydney backed a step toward the cafeteria like she was luring me to swim across a pool. We can even sneak in some Widow's Fete prep. Sounds awesome. I backed a step the other way. You guys head to lunch. I'm going to go find Violet. Paige's, Sydney's, and Jason's eyes widened with either shock or fear. Andre got suddenly interested in his phone. Violet's not in a great place, Sydney said. You think? Helping someone through their own despair bog is a great way to heal. I backed another step away. Okay, sure, but we don't pet snarling hyenas. Paige held out her hand like she could be my lifeline. We choose to keep our fingers and let the hyena calm down on her own. I'll just toss snacks into her enclosure. No fingers near fangs, promise. 4 more steps back. I'll catch up to you in a bit. I turned and walked away from my human keepers, my stride even and calm, ignoring Paige's, Ella, wait! Making it around the corner and out of sight without anyone hauling me back to my Kate-approved safety net. Yes! Fuck yes! Calm, Ella. I didn't let myself glance back, waiting until I turned to open the library door to scan the corridor for any human shackles trailing me on Kate's orders. To my utter fucking shock, not even Paige had followed me. Fuck yes, you queen of intrigue. What, she doesn't sing to herself?
You know what? I'm going to let you have it.
Fuck yes, you queen of intrigue.
Okay. Oh, man. Back. Yeah. Okay, continue.
Okay. I slipped into the library, not giving myself time to revel in Step 2's success, or my relative freedom, or why Plan Dumbass Move Ella was, in fact, a dumbass move. The low hum of the HVAC and calming murmurs of conversation accented the absurdity of my brow-sweating nerves as I headed toward the side wall. Not nerves born of the unnatural texture in the stale body spray-scented air. I'd felt that texture too many times to be shaken by the splinters of supernatural bullshit trying to catch on poor Sybil me. My facial dew God, I hate that so much. I'd put a note for later. But facial dew is so gross, and I don't know why. Because, like, in a poem, like, let's say that this was this gorgeous book of poetry, the facial dew I swept from her brow. Like, that it can be very romantic and beautiful, like her face is a flower. What would Freud have to say about that? But in this context, facial dew is grossing me out, and I don't know why. Do you have any comments? All right. My moist facial dew. That's what
Okay, Mine was fine. You went too far.
Maybe that's the problem, is that my brain inserts the word moist into that sentence. And now you're welcome, listener.
That just
You
sounds
won't
like
be able
you
to
have like
unhear
a
it.
sweaty wig cap that's just like pressing on your forehead line.
Oh my gosh.
Ew.
All right. Not nerves born of the unnatural texture in the stale body spray scented air. I'd felt that texture too many times to be shaken by the splinters of supernatural bullshit trying to catch on poor Sybil me. My facial dew came from the earned knowledge that doing stupid shit invites fucked up consequences. Those consequences like to leave cosmic trauma magnets on places as much as on people, and if the Laureldale High Library suddenly became a magnet for awful, it would be my dumbassery's fucking fault. I stopped at the row level with Caleb's usual lunch spot, peering around the corner, making sure my prey hadn't gone astray. Caleb was right where I knew, meaning hoped, he'd be, silently eating with 11 other students, each of whom seemed equally disinterested in the presence of the rest. Kind of him to have a routine. The part of me that spent too much time with humans screamed that I should just walk up to Caleb, tap him on the shoulder, and ask if he had a second. Tell a quick little lie about needing help with some bullshit homework and be done with it. Simple. Easy. Hell, it had even worked before. But shit you don't want traced shouldn't be started in public, making tucking myself into the narrow corner niche where two shelves met and slipping the little detailing knife from the ankle of my boot the best plan. Or the best plan I could come up with while being constantly smothered by humans who are truly wonderful and trying so fucking hard, but the energy it takes to carefully consider every fucking thing I say to avoid slipping up and outing myself or the supernatural world, or just plain screaming that none of them can offer the help I need, was fucking exhausting, pushing the skills required for creating brilliant plans far out of my pathetic reach. Don't think, just act. Don't think, just act. I pulled the clear safety cap off the detailing knife. Don't think, just act. I sliced the blade across my palm, shoved the cap back on, balled my black, because I'm fucking prepared like that, sweater sleeve into my now bleeding hand, and shoved the knife back into the boot. Oh man, I was doing so well too.
You were doing a great job.
I was, but it's not the boot, it's my boot. I sliced the blade across my palm, shoved the cap back on, balled my black, because I'm fucking prepared like that, sweater sleeve into my now bleeding hand, and shoved the knife back into my boot before letting myself feel the pain of the stupid shit I'd just done. I didn't try to silence my whimper or the gasp I dragged through my teeth as I clenched and loosened my fist, pushing the throbbing of the wound up my arm, pumping blood to the gash in my hand. A head popped around the corner. Isaiah, my partner for the field day rock climbing competition Jason promised I was perfect for, brow pinched, lips pursed like my faint sounds of pain had been a grave personal offense. I waved my sweater-masked bloody hand, giving the gesture a little more waft than strictly necessary for a greeting, sliding out of my niche to a gap between shelves that supplied 3 possible escape routes. Was that you? Isaiah peered into the niche I'd just abandoned. Think, Ella. You know how thinking works, you fuck. Weak, a hint of fear. You can do this. I'm sorry. My voice wobbled. The lines on Isaiah's forehead changed directions as his eyes bulged with fear. Where's Paige? Good to have Paige's Ella keeper status be well known. She can't help me. I have to go. I cut down the aisle, pivoting toward the door to the hall at the next row, clenching and opening my fist, pumping more blood through the gash on my palm, hoping I hadn't overestimated the absorbency of my sweater, hoping I hadn't overestimated the lure of my safety. I shoved the library door open, giving the mostly empty hall a quick scan for stalking human shackles before striding toward step 3 with the confidence of someone who isn't fucking around with the vague hope that the find out phase won't be painful enough to leave permanent scars. The ache of the detailing knife's handle digging into my ankle bone complemented the throb in my hand as I turned down the little hall tucked behind the cafeteria and stopped in front of the door with the handwritten Storage B sign. A shameful jolt of surprise broke through the cycle of please, 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 please looping in my head as I turned the knob and the door actually swung open. I slipped inside, closing the door behind me, bundling the hem of my sweater around my hand as an extra layer of drip protection as I sidled through the obstacle course blocking me from the hulking metal cabinet on the far wall. The relative organization from the first time I'd been in Storage B had gone to fuck. A stack of plastic bins marked KAT teetered 6 high in the corner, with an even more precarious tower of cardboard boxes marked Challenge Course leaning against it. A crate of flagging tape sat beside a trash can full of metal poles I really hoped had nothing to do with any of the next day's sporting events. Please, please, please. I crammed myself in beside the cabinet, making sure my elbows and toes were out of danger before rapping on its metal side right above the handle that had no normal purpose. The 3 seconds between my knock and the cabinet starting to pivot open stretched on forever. Come on, please, please. But the door to the hall stayed closed as the cabinet stopped, leaving a gap barely wide enough for me to squeeze through. "Did I knock anything over?" Violet whispered. "No." "Please, please." "Then what's wrong?" Violet's face appeared in the shadows. "Please." "Checking for drips." I shooed Violet back and slid through the gap and into the vault, aka the originally intended storage B, as evidenced by the bronze storage B plaque on the door. Lined with black soundproofing panels and offering board games, books, snacks, emergency supplies, including a wall of weapons, a sitting poof, an armchair, and a 2-top table, the vault had an impressively high lair quality for an in-school hideout. Please, please, please. I headed for the first aid kit on the table, not watching as Violet pivoted the cabinet shut behind me. "Why are you bleeding that much?" Violet asked. "Please, please." Violet flicked my arm, both gaining my attention and leaving a big-ass bruise. "What did you do?" "My best, okay?" I pulled my sweater over my head with my non-wounded hand, bunching the whole thing around my fucked hand, accepting the garment's doom. "I am doing my best." "At what?" Violet flipped open the first aid kit. "Most people would consider it polite to tell someone why you're planning to show up hurt, rather than just tossing over a note asking them to have a bandage ready, which, by the way, doesn't cover prepping for human-style bleeding." Rude. "What?" Violet unscrewed a bottle of rubbing alcohol like a fucking threat. "Did you do?" "Please, please, please, just please." "Olfactory SOS." I peeled my sweater away from my bloody palm, balling it up on the table beneath my hand to catch any stray drips. Easy cleanup matters. "Let's try it one more time," Violet said. "The fuck did you do?" "Not yet. Not yet." I fully unfurled my left hand, getting my first look at the wound. 3 inches long, deep enough for a human to need stitches, not bad enough to worry about the muscles beneath the gash not working. "Ella!" Violet skipped flicking me and poured rubbing alcohol on my hand to get my fucking attention. "Shit!" I turned my squeak to a groan, squeezing my eyes shut, sending white sparks dancing through my vision as the blazing, cleansing sting seared my nerves. "Son of a fuck nugget!" "Is the reason you did this worth the pain?" Violet splashed my hand again. "Fuck!" "It has to be. It will be." Another splash. "Fuck off!" "Stop flinching. You're dripping on my table." Violet grabbed my wrist. "How long is this going to take to heal?" I felt Violet freeze. My eyes sprang open, my heart ramming up into my throat as the sad little warning bell that counts as my survival instinct overpowered pain, panic, and the plea whipping around my every fucking thought. The bronze-signed door swung open, and Caleb stepped into the vault. My heart ripped straight out of my body and up through my head, leaving a void in its path. A gaping chasm of pitch-black fear where my heart should have been. No vocal cords to even attempt speech, no brain to form viable thought. Only a vast silence where please, please, please had echoed. Anger blazed in Caleb's eyes. I didn't care, because he looked at me. Just for a split second, but his gaze swept over me before sliding to Violet. His anger gained a feral edge as he locked eyes with her, and I still didn't care. I would have faced a Fae-on-Wolf brawl to get him to look at me again. "Close the door." Violet let go of my wrist to grab a packet of gauze. Caleb didn't move. "What happened?" "You followed me." "Nothing we want to explain to Harrison, so close the fucking door." Violet less than tenderly slapped the gauze to my palm. If the inside of me hadn't been hollow, I would have gasped at the spike of pain. "Who attacked?" Caleb turned, pivoting the metal cabinet back into place, closing and locking the proper door too. Hold this. Violet let go of the gauze. Who? Caleb stepped closer. Hold! Violet grabbed my undamaged hand, moving it to clamp my fingers onto my wound. Answer me! You know what that makes me think of? Is in the first of Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight movies, when Batman goes, swear to me! Like, that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm envisioning in my head, is Caleb just being, answer me!
Okay, he is not Dumbledore having a fit at Harry Potter. Come into my arms! No, Caleb is not having a Dumbledore as a ragey seagull moment.
Answer me! All right, what? Answer me. Better?
Yes.
I still like, answer me. Oh my God, stop snapping. No, I'm keeping that in, along with your snap. You can't snap all of me out. You're not Thanos. Spoiler alert.
I can only get 50%.
That's what Thanos does.
So I am Thanos.
Wait, oh, son of a bitch. You are the podcast's Thanos. Okay.
Okay.
Answer me. I'm sorry. Answer me. A resonance of fey wrath darkened Caleb's tone. Megan has had it with my comedy today. Go ahead, Lala. Violet fucking flicked me. Tell him, Ella. Caleb's furious gaze shifted to me. See? Do you notice how I took the moment there to realize that Caleb wouldn't quite unleash the same fey wrath on Ella? You see that acting?
I'm proud of you for trying.
How dare you? Ella. Caleb's furious gaze shifted to me. My brain, throat, and heart all crashed back into existence in equal disarray. Better than apathy. I dragged air into my razor-lined lungs. What happened? Caleb stepped closer. Speak, Ella. Bloody meeting gavel of the Laureldale's fucked crime crew. What? His eyes sank to the impressively bloody gauze in my hand. Catch up, Caleb, Violet said. Just tell me what the hell is happening! The foam-paneled walls swallowed Caleb's shout. Digital communication is off limits. Kate has the human squad watching everything I do during the day, and Paige and Jason aren't moving out of Kate's anytime soon. I thought, maybe hoped, I saw Caleb flinch. So midnight meetings are off the table too. We can't trust Sheriff Fuckface to find his own asshole, let alone solve a murder, and Kate's been avoiding me since I got snatched, so we can't afford the stupidity of thinking she actually processed and believed everything I told her, let alone that she'll bother doing anything resembling productive action before someone else ends up dead. Caleb's gaze flicked up to meet mine. Fear had replaced the anger in his eyes. Not fear of me or for me, fear for himself. Fear of his whole world crumbling down. Have you had any more visions about Clara? Violet wound the bandage around my hand, her movements sure even as her voice came close to trembling. Do you have information we can actually use? Yes, I said. From the witch that died in the shed. Caleb stopped breathing. Step 4, betrayal. But what flavor to choose? Break a promise or tell a lie? Deceive one friend to protect the other? Risk a friend to prevent festering pain? The look in Caleb's eyes made the choice for me. The witch from the shed spent a long time talking before I killed him. I willed my words to take hold in whatever hellscape Caleb's thoughts had become. He didn't react. He's here. Let that be good enough. Sheriff Fuck is already looking for a second kidnapper, I said. When he finally accepts Clara was murdered, I'm willing to bet he takes the leap from my kidnapping to her murder and makes the hunter that killed her my second kidnapper. A growl rumbled in Violet's throat. Saying a thing doesn't make it true, Ella. I don't have any proof, I said, but I don't think Clara's killer had anything to do with taking me. Violet's growl fell silent. Caleb didn't even blink. If I'm right, you're not making it true, Ella. Laureldale has one sick fuck who likes to kidnap Aetherions, one sick fuck who likes to hunt us, and no one doing anything to stop either of them. I knew his scent.
I'd smelt it on my own skin so many times, felt at peace in his arms so often, I was stupid enough to trust his scent meant safety. I was so sure. Even with the moon twisting every part of me, my soul screamed that I only had to reach him. Then it would all stop. But she wore his scent, her own sweat tainting his perfection, poisoning everything I needed him to be. The stench of her blood drowned out every trace of him before reason caught up with rage. And thus ends chapter 11. And now I am going to quickly move back over here, shove that way, and then move this way.
Oh, look, doing thinking in advance. We did it. High five.
We did it. Okay, so I feel as though you're starting to give us a few hints as to what the fuck this is all about.
The italicized chapters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they are a third segment of the story. So thus far, before Diary of a Blood-Marked Werewolf, we had Ella's story and then the Watcher's story.
Correct.
And now we have Ella's story, the Watcher's story, and this third insert that is happening alongside those two tales.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We do. So this is completely random, and I don't remember what spurred me to put this in here, but the Argo.
Oh, yes.
Go ahead.
So there was actually a comment on one of the chapters where the field day after party is happening at the Argo, but the field day after party is happening at the sheriff/Jason's house. And someone mentioned that, like, wait a second, is it at the Argo or at the house or at the sheriff's house?
Yeah.
And it didn't occur to me that it might be weird for some people that the house is the business.
Yeah.
That the Argo is the home.
And why is that?
Because I grew up in an inn.
Yes,
so
you did.
I grew up in a business where it was like everyone called my home the Brown House Inn.
Yeah.
So like I grew up in this business. My house like had this title, but to me it was just home. So it's like it's that weird thing where it doesn't always occur to me that to some people living above the family business is weird.
Sure.
Because that's just how I was raised.
Yeah. It is a fascinating perspective to have because most of us, I don't think, did that. I would say that there are a lot of instances of people living in rural areas that work the farm they live on, things like that. So I guess in that sense, you lived in rural America. So yeah, I guess that flows.
It's just, it's
weird
that
though,
whole,
because
like,
it's the building itself. That's
the building is the business, the building is the home. They're the same thing. And it just like, that's what I knew growing up. Like everyone called it the Brown House Inn. I called it home.
So Megan, as I was making this comment, Megan was like, don't make fun of me for such and such. And I said, I'm not. I'm making fun of you for something completely different. So Megan, at one point, and I understand why you thought this, but when she wrote, when slogging through the bog of despair, a change of scenery feeds the soul. And she highlighted bog of despair and went, is that trademarked? Can I use that?
Well,
and I went,
like,
oh my God.
Like it sounded familiar, and I was like, do I know that for a reason?
Okay, all right. So audience, I want you once again to answer this first, and then I'm going to give you the answer. So just so I'm not taking that joy away from you. Okay, so what could that be? Okay, so if you said the pit of despair from Princess Bride meets the bog of eternal stench from the labyrinth, you would be correct. So I looked at it and I went, bog of despair trademarked. I went, is she thinking pit of despair? And then I thought bog, and I went bog of eternal stench.
Well, I knew I was
amazing.
like, because I wanted it to be a bog of despair, because that's what it is. Because some people turn into those little leathery people and get stuck there forever in the bog. The bog people. The bog bodies, they turn leather because they've been in the bog of despair so long.
Wait, what is that?
Bog bodies?
No, wait, whoa. Yeah, what are you referencing? What is this?
This is real, bog bodies.
Ew. Oh, yes. They talk about this in Miss Peregrine's, I think.
It's a real thing.
No, I know, but I think that's where I had read about it.
Bog bodies are, and I'm gonna get the science all wrong.
That's okay.
But basically, in a bog, if you toss a body into it, the chemical makeup is such that it sort of like leatherizes.
It's very acidic, actually.
And preserves.
We were just talking about this at Universal the other day about how differences between bogs and swamps. It was very strange. Go ahead.
Whatever. Okay, so they get leather. You get leatherized and you become like frozen in this position. So it's like the bog of despair. If you linger there too long, you're going to get this leathery, petrified thing because you've lingered.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's the bog of despair. Because you can walk through it, but if you lay down, you're solidifying.
Yeah, okay.
So that's why I wanted it to be a bog of despair. But then I was like, wait a second. That sounds familiar, and now I've confused myself. So that's why I wanted to double check.
Okay.
But there was a specific reason that I wanted it to be a bog.
Smoke. Sorry, I love Ludo so much. I was about to say that's an underrated movie. I don't think anybody underrates that movie. It's fantastic. Okay. Sydney backed a step toward the cafeteria like she was luring me to swim across a pool. I read that, and just the immediacy of the imagery made me laugh.
Because we all know what that is, whether it's a lake, river, whatever. But like that whole come on.
Yeah, come on, you can do it.
Come on. And it's even when they don't say it, they're just like, one more step. One more step. Yep. We got this.
Yep. I remember that. I have distinct memories of that.
You still do that to me.
Wait, what?
When we're hiking and I'm like, I'm going to make it to that tree and then I'm going to take a breath and you go like 20 steps past it and you're like, oh, darn, I guess we're stopping here.
Do I do that?
Yes, you do.
Not anymore because we're in Florida. There is no hiking in Florida.
There's a nice
there's walking
with a 10-foot incline. Now you could be eaten by wildlife, so there's still danger.
Oh yeah.
Plenty of chances to die. You're just gonna die on a nice flat trail.
Yeah, you are, by being bitten by a snake or an alligator. Or there are bears here too, but they're black bears. And
there's also wildcats, but they're like pretty skittish.
Oh, that's true. The Florida puma? No.
There's also Florida man. Like, you never know what's going to get you around here. Okay,
it comes
continue.
with a gator and a vape. Okay. This cracked me up on the same page. Okay, sure, but we don't pet snarling hyenas. We choose to keep our fingers and let the hyena calm down on her own. I'll just toss snacks into her enclosure. No fingers near fangs, promise. And I went, this fucking analogy. But it's so true. It's so true. Only she doesn't mean hyena. She means wolf. She just doesn't know it.
No, but it's like that. Sometimes you have friends that need help, and sometimes you have friends that you just have to let them snarl themselves out, and then you feed them a cookie when they're done.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. We talked about the facial dew. Oh, God. I don't know why it bothers me so much.
Because you're making it worse by inserting moist.
Yes, it's gross. Oh, okay. So Megan and I have talked about this before. I don't think on the podcast, but gaps, informational gaps as we go through life. One of mine, and I feel like the more that I've thought about it, I'm like, no, I must have known this at one point. But Megan was like, do we like row here or should it be aisle? And I went, what is the difference between a row and an aisle? So I wrote this comment. Did you have something to say before I say this?
No.
Okay. This is the comment I wrote. I was today years old when I learned that aisles and rows cannot be used synonymously! ! A row is a line of chairs, objects, people, etc. An aisle is the empty space between rows. Who the fuck knew?
I knew, but I was trying to figure out where I needed to put her so that she could actually see.
Yeah, and again, going back to what I said, because I was like, I was today years old. I don't think I was.
No,
I just don't think I had remembered.
You don't always think about it.
No, I don't.
Because
I honestly don't think I remembered
aisle, because it's just like, because you go into like aisle 32.
Right, yeah.
Row 32. Like, it's like we use them so similarly in like theaters, grocery stores.
Well, yeah, grocery stores, because
you have to like think about it.
You're passing rows as you go down the aisle.
Yeah.
So it's like they're similar. You can walk through one. You can't walk through another.
I would just like to state that I knew the difference.
Sure, you just weren't sure which one you wanted to.
Well, no, I wasn't sure spatially where it made sense to put her.
I see.
Like, if she's standing in the aisle, then she's not really looking. But if she stops at the row, then we have to have her like peer around into the aisle. And that's like way too complicated. So it's sort of like, what is the shorthand version where we can get her to do the right action without like So she stopped at the row and leaned out into the aisle, turning her head to make sure her prey hadn't wandered. Like, that's too much.
Yeah,
so it's like, what is the colloquial shorthand that I can just like cut out the extra steps so that we know what she's doing and we can do it in like 7 words less?
No, that makes sense. So during our read aloud edit, which is our final edit before we take this to podcast, Megan will we'll talk about something. We'll discuss a point. I will get completely off topic. That happens way too often. Sorry about that, babe. And then Megan will bring us back by being like, okay, like let's say that we were going back to hoping I hadn't overestimated the lure of my safety. She'll be like, okay, hoping. Or the next paragraph, I shoved. She'd be like, okay, go back to I shoved. So when we did read aloud edits for this one, we got to a point where Megan went, okay, and I went,
Go back to the. Good.
And I just started laughing, and she knew immediately why I was laughing. She was like, shut up.
Go back to like jolting.
Yeah.
Go back to the.
Right.
Good job. I did a great job.
You did. Sorry, I'm checking through here to see. Yeah, okay. So this is what I want to talk about next. This is a really very sad moment for Ella, and it. I don't know. Maybe it's with everything going on today, but like I look at this and I immediately am like, oh, is this a hallmark or an hallmark, of an abusive relationship? And it's not because of what Caleb has gone through, but the fact that he looks at her with anger and she's like, it's better than apathy. And it's like, oh God. So what are your feelings on this? Like what Ella is currently going through in this moment? I don't think it's abusive, but I looked at it and immediately my brain pinged.
No, it's not that it's even apathy or anger towards her. It's her doing a trauma check.
Oh.
Of like, okay, like, oh, you are still feeling emotions. You are like, you haven't gone completely numb and checked out.
Yeah.
That's why it's like, you cared enough to follow me.
Okay.
You are coherent enough to be like, I smell Sybil blood. I want her alive. Okay. He's showing up, raging, wanting to defend. He is feeling emotions. He is still in the like, no, we have to protect our own mindset. So it's not like apathy towards her or anger towards her. It's really, she hasn't gotten to do a mental health check on him. She has no idea where he is in this trauma, and she hasn't gotten to do this at all.
Sure.
So just that, like, have you gone completely cold? Have you dealt with this? Like, what's happening? How can I take care of you?
Sure. Is this, like, obviously it's a trauma process. Is it a bit of a grieving process? Because I feel like when you have, I mean, I don't know because I've never killed anyone. This is where this and the next comment are where we're going to start getting into pretty heavy spoiler stuff. So if you want to get out now. I've given you your warning. So Caleb is the reason that Austin dies. Mm-hmm. If Ella could have gotten to it, she would have absolutely killed him. But has she killed people before?
Not straight out, no.
Okay, so she has not done what Caleb did.
No.
So is this kind of a bit of a grieving process for him because he has lost that innocence?
I don't think he knows that it's a grieving process.
But it is. I'm saying objectively, not that he does.
Yeah, objectively it is, because it's this part of his life that he knew before there was that weight of, could I have done something differently on his conscience? Like, that weight is there now. There's no way to get around that. And that's going to cause grief. But it's also like, there's grief, but also in his mind, he saved her.
Sure.
So does he still think she was worth saving is a question. Or is he mad that he did that? Like, that's something Ella needs to figure out of like, wait, do you still think it was worth saving me?
God, this is so complex.
Like, okay, like, do you still think like people shouldn't die? Do you still think you're not evil? Like, where are we on this?
Yeah.
Because he's had 2 weeks to sit with this immense trauma that she specifically forbid him to tell anyone about.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
He's just been on his own.
Dealing
And
with
that's
it
why
without-
it's like,
oh my
I don't
gosh.
know what's happening here. And that's why, like, yeah, cutting her hand open to be like, will you follow me, buddy? You want a steak? Like, yeah, it's a dumbass move, but it's a test of like, does he care enough to come after me?
Yes, that I know. That I know.
And B, the best
are
way
you?
to rally. Of like, okay, without digital communication, without speaking, without being seen, like he can follow this and will know where I'm going.
I'm curious to find out, because I have my thoughts, and I don't want you to answer this right now because I think it will lessen the dramatic impact of when he finally does explain, because I think it's coming. I don't know, but I think it is. But why he has been avoiding her, specifically why. And that's probably what she's wondering too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. I'm just very interested.
Well,
to
because
figure
there
out
could be so many reasons for that.
Yeah, there could be, and I'm very interested to find out what
Yeah.
those are. Okay, so this is the last thing, and I think that this is, I think this is an important thing to end on. Where she says, step 4, betrayal, but what flavor to choose? Break a promise or tell a lie? Megan will leave me these bracketed comments in them in the manuscript for when I do my first round of edits. And for here, she had break a promise and then inserted, did she promise or at least close enough or tell a lie? So I was like, okay, let me go back and check. So I pulled this from book 1. This is from the last chapter of book 1. So again, you've been warned. I stepped closer to him, my chest brushing his as I used my body to block his view of Austin. No tears, no panic, no lost sleep. You have to keep your shit together, okay? Yeah, he dragged in a breath. Yeah, okay. I'll reach out as soon as it's safe, and I swear to you we will unpack this trauma together, and I'll take my turn holding you through nightmares. I kissed him, sealing my promise to help him endure the kind of hell someone like Caleb should never even have to know exists. Get the dagger, binder, and anything else off the table that looks even slightly supernatural. So, yeah. So, yes, she did promise. Even
Well,
if
it's one of
she
those
didn't say,
things-
I promise.
Because it's not the right promise.
It's not the right promise.
And that's one of those things where sometimes my brain gets so nitpicky where I'm like, okay, but can she say it was a promise if she didn't promise that specific thing?
Right.
Was it close enough to an implied promise? Because my brain has problems with things like that where it's like, unless you say, I promise, did she really promise? And so sometimes I have to use you as my normality filter of like, no, that was a promise, even if she didn't say, I solemnly swear, like we did it, that's there.
All right, and that brings us to the end of my notes. Did you have anything you wanted to add or anything else that you wanted to discuss?
No, I just wanted to give another shout to the people who are in the Tampa Bay / Florida area because we are going to be heading to YA by the Bay, where R.L. Stein is going to be our keynote speaker again, which is super cool. Link to the R.L. Stein story in the show notes too.
Oh, yeah.
We have a really cool story about R.L. Stein. Chris will link to a video about that story in the show notes too. But it's an amazing, amazing event. Come check that out. After that, the next big events I have are Orlando Reads Books, and then the Miami Book Fair. And wish me luck on the Footscrew.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oof, that'll be fun.
And of course, also follow, subscribe, comment, anything that your preferred platform lets you do to interact so that it can tell the algorithm that you like us. Please do those things. Help more people find Page by Page and Ella's story. Sorry, you were going to say?
No, that's okay. I don't even remember, but I will add to that if you can, give the podcast a share. We are really trying to get this out to as many people as possible. And this is coming from husband Chris as opposed to producer and business partner Chris, because I'm really proud of Megan's work. And hopefully you are too. So help us get the good word out there. And until next time, thank you for reading.